Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Jake. Today's topic is retaining walls. We're going to talk about two different retaining walls, a gravity retaining wall and a reinforced retaining wall. What is a gravity retaining wall? Well, a gravity retaining wall relies on the sheer mass of that masonry block that you're building with, that retaining wall block, to hold back any kind of soil. So what happens if you place a surcharge on top of that gravity retaining wall? Well, that's what we're going to cover here today. This box is my simulated retaining wall, and we are going to fill that retaining wall with our free draining soil, which is sand that we like to use for our retaining walls. We're going to compact it in lifts, and then I'm going to remove this box. We're going to then place some of these weights on top of that retaining wall, creating a surcharge, which could be a parking lot, a driveway. It could be a slope behind that retaining wall, creating that surcharge. And we're going to show you what is going to happen when that surcharge is placed on this retaining wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my sand here, I'm going to pour it into the box, and then I'm going to use my dead blow hammer here as my simulated compaction device. And when I compact this, when we're in the field, we want to compact this in 6 to 8 inch lifts. That's going to give us the proper amount of compaction to ensure that there won't be any settling over time. And if there's a parking lot or a driveway that's holding up that retaining wall, we're going to ensure that there is no settling of that asphalt or concrete. So when you compact this soil, we want to make sure that it's flat, and we get a really nice compaction. And what we use is all vibratory plate compactors. That's what we recommend using. Okay, so that is the last bit of my sand here. I'm just going to spread it out real nice and easy. Then I'm going to give it another light compaction. Okay, we got a real good compaction here. Okay, now I'm going to remove this box. Some might give away when we remove this box, but then we're going to replace some of these weights on there, and we're going to see what we can do with them. Okay, so what we're going to start off with, we're just going to start off with a 5-pound weight. Okay, so you can see that held some weight there. We're going to do another 5-pound weight. Good deal. We're going to go our 2.5-pound weight. So we're going to be 12.5 pounds here. We're going to go to 15 pounds. A little bit of movement on 15 pounds. This is 17.5. Okay, where you're doing well. Now we're going to go to 10 pounds. Okay, so at 27.5 pounds, that retaining wall failed. So it's going to be a good comparison to see what this gravity retaining wall is able to hold versus our reinforced retaining wall. I'm going to reset here really quick, and then we'll be right back. All right, I had a chance to get reset here. Now we're going to talk about a reinforced retaining wall. And what is a reinforced retaining wall? Well, a reinforced retaining wall doesn't only incorporate the sheer mass and weight of that retaining wall block. It also incorporates what's called geogrid. Geogrid, just like this, is a mesh material that's going to help distribute the surcharge of anything that is placed on top of that retaining wall. And what that's going to be is that's going to be a parking lot, a driveway, a building, things of that sort to help that retaining wall have a good life and longevity, so you're not going to see any kind of failure or settling over time than you might with a gravity retaining wall. So what I have here, what we're going to show you, is this box is going to simulate a retaining wall. Again, we have some sand that we like to use. It's a free draining sand. And we're going to place that into the box, and we're going to use our GeoGrid in layers. So a good rule of thumb is really general, is GeoGrid is going to be implemented every 1.5 to 2 feet high. And it's compacted in 6 to 8 inch lifts. We're going to go ahead and we're going to place this into our box. It's all cut to size. And then we're going to place some of our sand into that box again. Once all the sand is gone, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this box. And then we're going to place some of these weights I have over on my right and see how much more weight that this retaining wall is able to take versus a gravity retaining wall. And we're going to show you why that we'd like to incorporate GeoGrid into our retaining walls the majority of the time. Because even if it is a small retaining wall, all this does is give you a little bit more insurance that this retaining wall isn't going to fail over time. Okay, and when you place GeoGrid on our soil, we want to make sure that that soil is compacted prior to us putting GeoGrid on it. We also want to make sure that it's flat. All right, I'm going to place my last layer of GeoGrid within this structure. Now, there are 4 layers of GeoGrid within this structure, just so we're able to get a really nice and good test to be able to show you the difference that this retaining wall is able to take in terms of weight versus a gravity retaining wall. So I'm just making sure I get a nice and good compaction here on a few different areas. Okay, do a little bit more sand in here. Okay, and that is it for our sand. Again, I'm just moving around this sand to make sure that it is nice and level. Do my last layer compaction. Then we'll remove this box and see how much weight that we can put on it. Okay. Okay, so there are 4 layers of GeoGrid within this structure. What we have is 10-pound weights, 5-pound, and 2.5-pound. We're going to start with a 10-pound weight. Just want to make sure that that's nice and centered on there so we get a really good test. Another 10-pound weight. Okay, we're going to go for another 10-pound. So this would be 30 pounds. Remember that last retaining wall failed at 27.5 pounds. Okay, so we are at 30 pounds. We're going to move to 40 pounds. Okay, now we're going to go to 45 pounds. This will be 50 pounds. This would be 55 pounds. And 57.5. That's all I have for weights here, but what you're able to see is almost double the amount of weight that this reinforced structure is able to take versus a gravity retaining wall. Thanks for sticking with us throughout the video today. Please like and subscribe.